Believe it or not, we got a Deathdream. Woohoo! From the mind who brought us this. And this. And this.
Now that penis had a mole on it. I'd recognize that penis anywhere.
And this. Comes as 1974 horror thriller drama Deathdream, or also known as Dead of Night, or It Came from the Grave, or King of the Grave, or Whispers, or The Night Andy Came Home, or Night Walk, or The Veteran. Yeah, this is one of those movies back in the 70s that had 1,001 different titles to it. And wouldn't you know it, our friends over at Blue Underground in 2017 came out with this Blu-ray that was sourced from a 2K scan that really looked excellent, to the point I even thought, how could this look any better than it does? Well, in 2024, Blue Underground has re-released the film, this time in 4K UHD and a remastered Blu-ray sourced from the same 4K scan. Alright, so you know what time it is. Let's take a closer look and find out if this 4K UHD is worth upgrading from the Blu-ray, and also the price tag, if it's worth the price tag. And also stay tuned after the review for a rundown of all the special features, because this thing is absolutely jam-packed. Blue Underground again delivers the goods with a spectacular 4K UHD presentation that does hold its own, along with a remastered Blu-ray. For starters, the 4K has an excellent cleanup job that the 2017 Blu-ray did not have. It's obvious this is a fresh new scan, looking as clean as it can get, while retaining the original low-budget gritty look and feel of the film. I also noticed that the image is brighter than it is on the Blu-ray. The HDR grading and Dolby Vision really enhances the color palette with nice splashes of rich, vibrant colors to come through while staying faithful to the original color design based off the original material. There's some really nice added color depth, nuances, and the image is also warmer than the Blu-ray. From the very start of the movie in Vietnam, it's a prime example with the explosions that ignite the screen with brilliant and deep yellow-orange flames that lights up the dark environment all around. And that's just a small taste of what we have to come in this 4K. There are also some outstanding uses of reds that are bold and vibrant. Blood also looks deeper crimson and more natural, while on a 2017 Blu-ray, the blood red looked very faded. You can definitely see the differences here with these images. Blue and yellows are also active and bright, and greens are solid and full. Secondary colors come into play here with all the 70s pastel purples, pinks, greens, and also browns, tans, and grays. They're all very strong and vivid. Especially the green and purple tones of the walls in the Brooks house. It's almost a 9-day difference here when comparing it to 2017 Blu-ray, looking much more appropriate now with the scene on the 4K. Skin tones are also warmer, and Andrew's skin becomes more and more increasingly paler as the movie goes on, matching his decaying body. This is a huge benefit that we just really did not have on the Blu-ray. Now, director Bob Clark loved to shoot his horror films looking very dark. Some say he even went so far as having no production light at all. And Deathdream is no exception here. The Blu-ray already had pretty decent black levels. However, when comparing the Blu-ray to the 4K, I did pick up on a lot of crushing out of details that I honestly didn't notice before until I did this comparison. And that's the value of what this 4K really brings to the table. And with the HDR and Dolby Vision applied, it really enhances the black levels with better resolved, deeper, truer looking black levels with outstanding shadow, detail, and delineation. There's also more depth throughout, especially during the darkest, deepest, murkiest corners of the frame, and there are plenty of them throughout the film. And there is absolutely no crush to be found. For such a dark looking movie, this is definitely the greatest strength on this 4K HDR Dolby Vision presentation, while never diminishing the integrity of the image. Now, being a shoestring budget indie movie meant low budget stock, lenses, cameras, and the movie does have a number of out of focus and blurry shots, along with a very heavy grain structure that I'll talk more about in a minute. And despite many out-of-focus shots or shots looking a little blurry, the overall image quality still carries a very high level of detail, thanks to the 2160p resolution giving finer lines, looking much more sharper than we had on a 2017 Blu-ray. The image is just as sharp as the lenses could capture, with no artificial sharpening or smoothing done to the image. Whether it be with wide shots or close-ups, backgrounds remain pretty sharp. A nice leap over the 2017 Blu-ray are with facial and skin textures that are right on point, revealing finer details such as complexions, wrinkles, makeup, blood splatter on Andy's face and his victims. Also, Andy's decaying skin and face looks much more detailed and even some more depth within the decaying flesh. Objects carry nice sheen to them, and details and textures are handled perfectly, showcasing the entire production design in full, even under the out-of-focus and blurry shots. It's all handled exceptionally well on this 4K UHD. I also noticed that the image stability on the 4K is stronger and a little more solid than what we had on the 2017 Blu-ray. Now, as I said before, the movie noticeably carries inherited heavy grain structure, and when I compared the 2017 Blu-ray to this new 4K, I did notice the 2017 Blu-ray carries very inconsistent grain fluctuations throughout, including some very heavy, chunky grain in the darkest scenes that really hid details and even colors. And that's probably the biggest detriment to the Blu-ray. The 4K does maintain the film's heavy grain structure, however it looks much better resolved now, also looking much finer and tighter. And this really draws out what was hidden under all that chunky grain mess on the previous Blu-ray, creating a very healthy, natural 35mm filmic appearance. Guys, Blue Underground has done it again. They deliver an exceptional presentation that shows the power of what 4K, HDR, and even Dolby Vision can really do for a 49-year-old film made on a shoestring budget. Alright, now let's talk about the audio presentation of this 4K, and it does port over the same stereo mono track that they had on the Blu-ray, which is perfectly fine with a film that carries such a modest sound design. Overall, it's a great sounding track that complements the movie well. Alright, so my score for Blue Underground's 4K UHD presentation of Deathdream, I'm giving the video 5 out of 5, and the audio, I'm giving it a 3.5 out of 5. Alright, but now here's the real test. Head over to the comment section and let me know, when you look at the differences here between the 2017 Blu-ray and this new 4K UHD, which do you think looks better? Or do you see any comparison at all? Head over to the comment section and let me know. As always, guys, thanks so much for hanging out with me for a few minutes here talking about Deathdream, aka Dead of Night. As always, keep physical media alive. We'll see you next time. I got a fever of 103 because I got a death dream. Ooh, ooh, I've got a death dream. Believe it or not, I got a death dream. Let's see what happens in my death dream.